Ninth Circuit Court allows President Trump to continue his pause on refugee admissions. This comes to us as somewhat of a surprise because we are talking about the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They have a reputation as being arguably the most progressive court of appeal in the land, and yet here we are, reversing a woke decision by an activist judge. This could actually be much bigger news than, or at least have more repercussions than just the effects on the refugee admissions program. I'll get to that in a second. Let's first start off with the article itself, which comes to us from The Right Scoop. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just blocked an order by a lower court judge that would have forced President Trump to restart refugee admissions. According to Kyle Cheney, who's on X, no relation to Liz or Dick, the Ninth Circuit has stayed a judge's order, forcing the Trump administration to restart refugee admissions. The court will still require the administration to process refugees conditionally approved before January 20th, but new admissions can be paused. Now, that little throw-in at the end by the court is sort of funny because the Trump executive order did not mention anything prior to his administration. It was only referring to new admissions. So for them to come out and say, hey, you can't go back in time, that's sort of odd. Or is it? Could it be a signal, a sign? Because we are talking about a court of appeals that was made up of one Clinton appointee and one Biden appointee, along with a Trump appointee, and at least two of the three would have had to have voted to stay the lower court's order. Could this be a sign that the appellate courts, which generally speaking, even the woke ones, are more constitutionally aligned than the lower courts? Just by their very nature, appellate courts are supposed to look at the Constitution. Well, I mean, all judges are supposed to defend the Constitution, but in reality, lower court judges, as we've learned very acutely ever since President Trump has started issuing executive orders, lower court judges tend to flex their powers and express their opinions more so than be guided by the Constitution. In other words, they have a plan that they want to initiate, an agenda, and then they try to back their way in by making sort of semi-constitutional arguments. The appeals court can't do that. I mean, they can, I guess, but they generally speaking do not do that nearly as much as the lower court judges. Now, this reversal could signal, basically be the first one on the dance floor, so to speak, open what we would hope to be the floodgates of appeals courts overturning the rulings of lower court judges, lower court activist judges. Okay, the appeals courts have a lot more at stake when it comes to whether or not they rule correctly. Lower court judges can express their perspectives, I guess, more freely, simply because there is less at stake when you are in appeals court. You are judged based upon whether or not your appeals rulings are overturned by the Supreme Court. If you have too many of your own rulings overturned by the Supreme Court, that looks bad on you, and that greatly hampers your reputation as well as your potential for advancement within the United States judiciary. So hopefully, Lord willing, this is a sign that other courts of appeal will follow suit, take these activist woke judges, and introduce them to the Constitution. Thank you so much for watching that video. If you have not already, now would be a great time for you to subscribe and to give me a thumbs up. It's just a couple of clicks, but it dramatically helps me, my family, and of course it helps the United States of America.